Come on, lift it up. Say nothing. Your love at the top of your lungs. Say nothing compares to you. Nothing could ever separate us from this love. Whoa. You're alive and we are free. You are everything, everything we need. Whoa. Love is spoken, we believe. You are everything, everything we need. The tide is turning, this is redemption's hour. In the midst of a world lost for love, you are all we have now. The lost returning, salvation is all around. In the midst of a world broken down, you are all we have now. For you are God and this hope is ours. So Father, open the sky.
All right, can y'all hear me okay? Very cool. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here today with me. My name is Emilie, and I am a US2 missionary through Generation Transformation. I'm currently serving in Memphis, Tennessee at Workers Interfaith Network, which is a labor rights organization. And today I want to talk with you about fast food. So how many of you eat fast food pretty frequently? All right, cool. So this talk is pretty relevant in all our lives. I want to talk about the impacts of supporting the fast food industry. My perspective on fast food has definitely changed over the past few years due to my organization's relationship with the Fight for 15. The Fight for 15 is a national campaign of fast food workers and home care workers and college professors, all low-wage workers who are fighting for $15 an hour and the right to unionize. So they're creating strategic plans to change the fast food and low-wage worker industries. And they're doing that by coming together, building strength in numbers so that they can have their voice heard by these large corporations. As an assistant organizer at Workers Interfaith Network, I have been able to work very closely with these fast food workers in the Fight for 15, helping to plan different campaigns and rallies and press conferences since our missions overlap. So I've gotten very close with, sorry y'all, I didn't get a clicker from you. Sorry about that. I've met a lot of really close friends doing this work, so I wanted to introduce you to a few of them. This is my friend Angelique. She has been part of the Fight for 15 for about a year and a half, and she joined because she was struggling to support her cute little boys, Tyler and TJ, on just $7.25 an hour, which is the federal minimum wage, and there are no minimum wage laws in Tennessee, so that's why people are only making $7.25 an hour. When she heard that her friends were fighting for $15 an hour and a union, she wanted to get involved. And this is Chris. Chris has worked at Church's Chicken for 3.5 years and has only received a 10-cent raise. And many times he is asked to do managerial duties like look at the schedule or run to the bank to get change, and he's not being compensated for that work. And he was telling me that when there's poor working conditions, he feels like he's not able to do his job to the fullest of his abilities. So he wanted to create a better dining experience for everyone coming into churches by joining the Fight for 15. It's been a really remarkable experience to get to know these workers and activists and to stand side by side with them as they're fighting for justice. I've been able to witness a profound transformation in the national conversation around a living wage. And a living wage is the amount of money that it takes somebody to live well. So to be able to pay their rent, housing, bills, pay for their kids' education. So not to live extravagantly, but just to be able to live. Right now, that looks like about $14 in Memphis. So it's even higher depending on if you're living in a bigger city. So why is the Fight for 15 necessary? The Fight for 15 came into existence because workers like Chris and Angelique were having a hard time getting by. The average age of a fast food worker is 28. So a lot of people make the argument that fast food workers are students, they don't need to be making more money, but that's not true. A lot of folks are older than I am and trying to support a family. For example, in 2013, the average fast food worker brought in $52,000 for their corporation, but they only made $15,000. So they're not even being paid what they are worth to the corporation. Meanwhile, the McDonald's CEO took home $18 million. So there's just a huge disparity there. And since workers are not able to make a living wage, all of that money is going to corporate greed. Workers are enrolled in public assistance programs, so they're receiving housing vouchers or food stamps from the government, and that's costing taxpayers $7 billion a year. So my story intersects with Angelique, intersects with Chris, because I've been able to be a part of Generation Transformation through Global Ministries, an agency of the United Methodist Church. And Generation Transformation works with vulnerable groups in order to create systemic change and fight for justice at already existing organizations. And I was able to serve as a US2 through the program, so I'm working in my own home context to create meaningful change. I wanted to join so that I could step up and put my faith into action. And so this is really important to the church, the work that these young adult missionaries are doing because of our Wesleyan roots. John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, believed that you could not be a Christian by yourself. He really promoted social holiness and wanted to reflect God's justice, mercy, and truth to those around him. And these different principles of social holiness can be found in the United Methodist Social Principles, which is a little book, and it's a prayerful and thoughtful way to address contemporary human issues through a religious lens. And if you flip open to the section on the economic community, there are lots of different points about that, but I want to focus on two. It talks about how everyone has the right to a living wage, and it also calls for a more equitable share of the world's resources. So if you think about what I was just talking about a second ago with why the Fight for 15 is in existence, those two ideas line up, the point of a living wage and an equitable share of resources. So that's exactly why the church is sending missionaries to do meaningful work in the world and create change. And through the Fight for 15, with support from people of faith, we've already seen many social transformations. For example, the campaign has expanded to include other low-wage workers, so there are home care workers and retail workers now involved. And there's also been concrete wins that we've seen. In Seattle, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, they are raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour to meet the demands that these workers have called for. Now, where I'm working in Memphis, we have struggled to see a lot of concrete change like that on the ground due to the political environment that we're living in, and there are some oppressive laws not allowing us to do so. But I have seen really huge transformation within these workers that I'm working with. So even without a formal union or a pay raise, these workers have created change on the ground. So let's go back to Angelique. She has gained new skills like public speaking and event planning that she is now able to use to transfer to other industries. And she's found the confidence to speak out. That's true of Chris as well. He found confidence in his voice, and he told me that he's learned that if you never ask for what you want, you're never going to get it. So you need to speak up. He's also hopeful that because of his hard work, he'll see change for himself and his children. And it's not only these workers who have experienced transformation. I've transformed as well. Over these past 2 years working as a young adult missionary, I've realized the necessity of hope in doing this work to sustain yourself. You've always got to have a positive outlook and see your goals as a reality. And I also have witnessed the power of unity, of people coming together as one to create change. So because of the support of the church and people-powered movements, we have seen measurable social change within the church. And also we've seen priceless social change within these workers who are doing the work to create change. So I would just want to challenge you all to step up like Chris and Angelique did and make your voices heard. So find a social justice issue that you are concerned with and start to fight to create change in that space. Thank you.